Hey guys, uh, good good evening, guys. Sorry for the late coming. We're just trying to set up something so that our network today will be fast. And I believe today's network is faster, and I believe we're going to do a lot today. So let's be rest assured that today marks the end of the class for this year. So we are going to continue from next year. So we have actually done 2 months out of the program, and we are going for 6 months. And I believe we have actually entered CSS, and we just have to do some couple of things. Then we are done with CSS and go into the main guy, which is JavaScript, which is going to usher us into becoming a front end developer, and not just a front end developer. You can see once you know JavaScript very well, you can still venture into back end, and you are going to be good. So let's pray before we continue. In Jesus' name, our Heavenly Father, we thank you for your help, for your kindness, for how you have helped us to get to this level of the program. Father, we pray that as we continue, your grace will continue with us in the name of Jesus. For in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So if you have joined the class and you're hearing me clearly, you can just signify by clicking or sending us a chat that you have joined the class. So you can just signify by sending a chat that you have joined the class. So we are going to just move straight into what we have for today. We have actually done some couple of stuff. So let's open our code. And I believe you are coding with me. So make sure you try and code with me while we start immediately. We don't have enough time and we'll have a lot to do today. Okay, this is what we have. Let's run the code and see where we are and what we have done. So with that, we can. Okay, this is what we have currently. So guys, and I believe majority. Then after the footer, we'll go straight into the responsiveness. That is what we are going to be doing today. And please, if you're not hearing me, you can just signify. If you're not hearing me, signify. If you're not hearing me, signify. Okay. If you're not hearing me, you can signify. Mm. So we did the footer. We actually did the footer, but we did not complete it. That's why you are saying it this way. We did not actually complete. That's why you are saying it this way. So let's try and see if we can complete it now. So then we'll go into responsiveness and we are good to go for the year. One by I will just drop some couple of assignments that we're going to be doing while we are at home. So already we have structured the the, the footer. We have done a file so that everybody can get used to using a Figma file. And put in mind, using a Figma file is something you cannot run away from as a front-end developer. Even as a back-end developer, you can't run away from it. But the problem is, or the difference is, why using a Figma file as a back-end developer, he is just developing the back-end developer will just be developing the business logic, making sure that before you get access to the database, some things are being checked and some things are being passed. But he or she will still be using the Figma file to design or to build what he or she wants to build. So, but for the backend guys, we are going to be checking everything the length, the distance between here and here, and we're going to be infecting it the way it is on the Figma. So that the Figma, what is on the Figma will look same as what is on your UI. You can see what we have on our UI. You can see what is here is same as what is on the Figma. So just that we did not complete it, but regardless, what we have is still similar. So let's continue. So we have actually done some things on the footer by doing spacing, like arranging it in a flex wise row. So let's actually complete it and make it look neat and exactly as what we want. So so already we have added our flex. And what is our flex doing for us? So you can see what the flex is doing for us. This is the flex. So it's actually doing display flex, which we already know, arranging it in a row wise. Then also we are actually doing align item flex start. Align item actually works with vertical alignment. The distance between top and the distance between the up aspect and the bottom aspect is kind of going to be similar, the same. So, but now what we actually did, what we actually did was to make sure that we want that this icon and this link and this social are in the same line. That's why we did flex that, so that the top aspect of this row, this column will be in the same line. And if you look at the Figma that we have, you can see that everything here is on the same line. That's what we are trying to achieve. That's why we use display flex and align item flex stats. And if you want to get more about this, make sure you watch our previous make sure you watch our previous tutorials or our previous classes. You will see that we actually explain flex and align item and justify content. I think that will give you an edge as you're watching this. You'll be getting the full gist of what you need to understand. So if you're not understanding it now, please rush back to that previous class and get full gist, then come back now and see that you will now see the understanding of what you are looking for. So let's continue. So we have done the display flex after putting all the contents. I've done display flex and done the align item flex start. Now the next thing is we need to start arranging it. So this is it here. So put in mind that it's not just display flex, there is still something we need to do. You can see that they are both having similar big space in between them. So we are going to go back to that. Uh, let's see where did we use this? We use it only here. So let's go back to our class and don't forget. Let's look for this. So we have to use justify content. Sorry for that noise. We have to use justify content space between. Now, this space between will actually separate all of them and give you that space that you're looking for. So that's why I added this space between now to this. So now let's go down the to this aspect and see where it is. So this is it. So now we have succeeded in doing what is called separating them individually and giving them a kind of quality separation. So, but the next thing we have to do is we have to start giving each of the like this. So you can see that currently like this is not looking good. Currently like this is not looking good. Let me be sure that the class is still on. Okay. Currently like this is not looking good, but with the style with the styling, it's going to come out nice. So let's start with the first column. Let's start with the first column. Let's go to the first column and start giving it its style. You can see the first column we have footer section, which we actually want to style with first of all. So let's come down to this other aspect. So let's give this its own style. What are we going to call it? I'm going to call it male footer. Okay, footer, male, male, male section. Footer male section. Now you have to try as much as possible to learn how to coin your 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 variable names or your style names. You have to try so that you can easily identify what you are doing. Because one thing with coding is when you leave it and you come back, for you to understand what you are doing is with what you have explained. That is what you are going to use to get your full gist of what you have done before. So what you are going to be doing is something like a storytelling. So you are telling yourself a story. When you come and read it, you tell yourself a story. So that's why you try as much as possible to give it a name that you will understand. That this is what I did here. So this is the footer mail section. So now let me style this. Okay, I think this footer mail section, I have to put it here also. Though I've put this footer section, but let me put it here. So I to explain everything concerning this part. So let me come here and find a name for this footer mail header. Mail header. I think this will work. So you can see I have to still find something that will look good. So let me come down to this footer mail header and let me add. Now we want to add something to this. What are we going to add? We are going to make this. You can see what is here is the mail and this is together. The mail and this is together, but on our own aspect, the mail and the send us messages down. So let's put it together. So what are we going to use now? We're going to use, let's check our flex. If we actually give flex center, okay, this is it. We have display flex, align item center, and justify content center. So we'll make sure if you are following us, make sure you have watched the previous classes before coming to this. Very, very important. So I'll add this here. And if I add this here now, you will see that now you can see that the send us messages together with the mailbox or the mail icon. So now let me add a style here for this. I'll put, okay, let me just go down to this and just say, just use, okay, mail and just put img. So now for me to put this mail, footer mail header and space img means I am targeting the footer mail header. Then I am focusing inside the footer mail header. Now I am focusing on image. So now rather than adding another class for the image and coming and writing it here, let me just use this. So, and I taught this in our previous class. If you still want to get more idea, so I'll have the width. But let me go to our Figma and look for the width 24 by 24, which is 24 height and 24 width. So let me use 24 by 24, 24 pixel, and I'll use height 24 pixel. And if you check it clearly, you will see that our mail icon has gone to this normal size that is supposed to be from the Figma. So let's continue. Now target the header, which is the H3. I have to target the H3. Okay. So I'll target the H3 now. So the H3 is a text, so I will have to use font size. But let me go and see what is on our Figma. Let me click on this. So let me see what's on our Figma. So white color, font size 20 pixel, color. We have color white. So font weight. Now, if you notice very well, I've been consistent in using font size and font weight. I might not use others. I might not use font family because I've added the font family already in the body. But if you notice, I've been consistent in using font weight and font size. And sometimes I will use line height. Because in terms of fonts, this is what makes it a quality font. So line height is normal, so I will not use any line height for it. So, but if you want to make your font using the font family, you have to, and I've taught you guys how to use font family from Google Fonts. You have to make sure that the font size and the font size and the font weight and the color is there. So it's have to, so that that will give you a texture. So if you don't use this often, your font will look horrible. And you can see that after putting that, you can see the way our fonts came out to look. Now you can see that this is more looking good than other fonts. Are you getting me? So you must make sure you have to try to to put the font size and the font width and the color in terms of your text. So let's continue. I've added this now. I've added this. So what we are going to add next, let's go to the footer section. Now you can see that this is having space here and this is like not having space here. So, but let's style this one. I will come back to this. Let's style this one first and style this one and style this one. Then you will now see that what we have will now come out the way it's supposed to come out. So let's come back to, you can see that I have not touched this footer mail section. We are leaving it for, so we are going to come down to the, but I will not jump it and later come back and give it a name. I don't like doing that. Some persons will jump it and go to the main important things and do it first. But I would like to give it a name. So when I come back to it, I know I already gave it a name. I will not have to start giving it a name. So with that, I'm telling a story already. So let's come down to these aspects: footer main header, footer main body, class, footer mail body, footer mail body. Then let's go and style it. And put in mind, you must try as much as possible to use an external CSS for your work. So you guys understand why I'm doing this. When we start going deep and we start adding JavaScript, you now get the full gist of this. So let's continue with what we have. So footer main body. And so what are we going to do on this footer main body? Now let's go and look at our Figma. Now you can see the Figma. You can see the way the Figma is input button. So let's see. Let's see. Uh, what I'm going to do here is basically separating the columns. That's what I'm going to do. Separating the rows. You can see the space between here and here is same thing with the space between here and here. So I'm going to now use that particular kind of space. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just give you a gap. Let me just look for the gap first of all. 22, 22 pixel. But gap will not be effective if we check our code. Gap will not be effective if you don't use flex. So now I'm going to do, I'm going to go and look for our flex. And not just flex. That's why I say that I have to write all my flex on top. Then look for a column, flex direction column. So I'm going to add our flex here, here. Yeah, this is where I'm going to add our flex. So flex, and also I'm going to carry flex column, flex direction column. You can start to do it in one place, so maybe on this footer mail body. I can start to write all my classes there, even my style there, flex and all that. But I'm just trying to teach you guys a professional way of doing things. Now you can see that I have used flex in several places, but I did not actually write them repeatedly. So I'm trying to remove repetition. So when you are trying to remove repetition, it makes you a senior developer. So I'm trying to give you guys that vibe of a senior developer. So as you're removing repetition, maybe not trying to repeat this, not trying to repeat this, as you are being conscious of removing repetition, you are making yourself a senior developer. Anybody that look at your code will definitely identify you as a senior developer. So that is why I'm trying to remove repetition in what we are doing. So I believe you guys will get that as you are going. When we get to JavaScript, you see that I will try as much as possible to always remove repetition. Though there are many scenarios where you might have to do with it, you just have to live with it. But still, yet it's still good. We try to remove repetition. So this is input field, which is these are input field. Now the input field is this aspect. You can see first name, email, message. Those are our input field. Now, if you come down to our code, you can see that we have gotten this spacing we are looking for. We have gotten that space. There's a problem. This let's remove this. Let's remove this div. We don't need this div here. Let's put this like this so that we can get the spacing. You can see it. When we had left that div, it was giving us just spacing. So structuring is very, very important. So we have the spacing we are looking for from our Figma. So we have the spacing we are looking for from our Figma. Let me check. Okay. Okay. So what are we going to do next is to start to add our styles. So now put in mind in Figma, the thing you are seeing inside your first name is in input is called placeholder. Placeholder. So in that placeholder now I'll add my first name. So when we come back to this our code, you now see its first name. And if you go to our Figma, you see it. Okay, this is let me just copy the way it is here. But this is not actually it. So as somebody, okay, full name. This is full name. So let's just put our space in so it will look good. If somebody wants to read it, the person will understand its full name. So let's add our placeholder here also, placeholder. Then let's go and look for okay, email address. Email address. So you can see email address is here. So come to this place, you see its email address. Now let's come to the next one. Why is this one big? This one is different from input. Input field is smaller. Then text area field is the one that is big there. So, but they still have the both of them still have the same attributes. The same attributes. If you don't understand what attributes means, you can still look at our previous classes. And also, attributes means uh, descriptions or property that have been added to our elements at the beginning tag or at the first tag of our element. That's why you are seeing all these class name, all these attributes, but they have been added in the first tag. At the first tag, you can see this is the first tag and this is the ending tag. So I've been added there. So now let me add our placeholder and put message. So when we come to our code, you see it. So you can see it. So we are succeeded in adding this. So uh let's style it. Let's style it. So how are we going to style it? Let's come down to this place and look at. So put in mind that what the style that is here is essentially the style that is here and the style that is here. So let's actually give the three of them a unique class name. So let's class footer male body inputs. Footer male body inputs. Body inputs. So let me add the same style to this. I told you if you're using ID, that means it must be unique. If you're using one class name here, you must make sure you use that same class name. You must not use that same class name for ID. But since it's class, we can actually use them in multiple places. So let's continue with this. And this one I will change it to text area, not inputs. Text area. So footer main body text area. So now let's add this to our class. Let's add this to our class. So let's add this to our class. And what are we going to use for it? Let's put okay. After today's class, I will share this Figma file with us. I will share this Figma file with us so we can use it and try what we are seeing here. So let me just share it on the group, on the class. And if you're not part of this program, if you want the Figma file, you can just message me so I get it. If you're not part of this program, you can just message me and I will send you the Figma file. So this is the Figma file. So I'm sharing the Figma file so we can see it and use it. So let me also oh, okay. Think this will be okay, yeah. So that we can use it and follow through what we are doing. So I think that is the best option. So now footer mail section, input section. So let's go to the Figma file. Let's go to the Figma file. So you have to click here, click on this so that we can see what we have. So you can see border radius 5. Now, but there's one thing with input field. When you click on it, you will see this black round border. So let's first of all remove all those things. Outline. Let's move outline none. Outline is different from the border. What you guys about border, but that's still the same thing, similar things, but just that outline is the outer part. Like after the border, you get the outline. After the border, you get the outline. In terms of you can see there's no outline again. But when I remove this, if I click on it, you see the outline. But there's still border. Oh. Let me just put border and show you all something. Border 1 pixel. Okay, let me put 2 pixel solid red. So we see that they are both the same thing. You can see border and you can see outline. So, but this is input and it's kind of on focus, bringing. Okay, this is not. This sorry. This is not. This is border. This is border. Let me put outline so we see something. I'm just trying to explain outline. Okay, outline 3 pixel solid blue. I think I've explained outline before. Okay, you can see the outline. After the border, you get the outline. So, but in to avoid browser issues, sometimes browser some browsers might actually have it as a default style for input. That's why I try to remove it first. And border don't for our inputs that we have here, the design we have here, it has border but does not have background color. So let's move our background color and put transparent. So now if we come back to it, you will see that uh, uh, we don't have background color. Let's make our border look nice. Border 1 pixel solid. Now let's come back to our Figma. You can see the color white. Let's put our white color. Whether I use 3F or use 6F works fine. Then the next thing we're going to add is border radius of 5. So let's add our border radius 5 pixel. So after adding this, let's see what we have. You can see we have something nice now. Well, let's go to our Figma. You will see that this is having a kind of space. Let's give it that particular space. Some places might actually want to use height and give it their own space. Fine. That you're using height for your inputs, you're using width for your input is fine. But me, I always prefer to use padding. So you can see 20 pixel padding is here and 10 is up and down. So I'm going to use padding. I will make here up and down is 10 pixel, left and right is 20 pixel. And let's see what we have. So you can see that it is now coming the way it's supposed to be. But there is one thing that is missing, which is the font. The font is not looking the way it is. So I'll click on this font and check the color. So you can see color for the font is this color. Is our font color. So you can see it here. So let's also add font size. Or you could always carry our font size 12 pixel. 12 pixel. In case you have any issue working with this, you can still ask questions. You are free to ask questions if you're having any issue working with this design. As you are working together, you can still ask questions. But we're going to do more UIs. This is just one of the UIs. There's another UI we are still going to do, and you guys are going to still do assessments on UIs. That's why I want to take my time and teach you guys about UI and responsiveness. So when you guys are doing yours, you guys will not have to say, I have not done this, I have not done this. But that will be during the break and also during the break we'll give you guys assessments to go and work on something. And when we come back, we are still going to work on that thing together and still going to work on 2 UIs, then 2 designs, then we are done with HTML and CSS. Then we move into React, JavaScript, which we're going to spend more time on before we go into React. So let's continue. Now you can see that these are full name. So font size is 12 pixel, font size 12 pixel, font width 400, and that is it. Font width 400. That is it. So that is it. That is it. So you can see that it's coming out the way it was. But I can make it a white color if you want to. So If you want to make it a white color is still preferable. FFF. So it's still okay with white color. But this is why is this not showing clearly is because of this is placeholder color. If you come and write now, you see that we're having a white color directly and our placeholder is off. So if I remove this, you see that our placeholder color is not that clear. That is your placeholder. You can also style your placeholder. Yeah, you can also style your placeholder. So we can always style our placeholders by actually putting this and putting a placeholder. You can see the placeholder now. So if I put the placeholder color as red, when we come here, you see that our placeholder is red. You get it. And when you write, it goes off. So you can always style your placeholder, but always placeholders are not that clear. So they are not that clear. So when you put something, make sure you don't make it that clear. That is why I'll still prefer that one we are using. Make sure it's not that clear. Make sure it's not that clear. That's why you are seeing it like this. So when somebody comes into your website, the person automatically knows that this is a placeholder. This is not a actual design. So our design is coming out okay, little by little. So there is one thing we did not add in our design is the button. We did not add the button. So let's add our button. Let's add our button. Let's add our button. So let's call our button send. You can see let's call it send. So this is our button. And when you look at it, it's now being affected. So let's add, so I've added this, but uh, text area container. No matter how long your class name is, make sure you still leave it that long. As far as it can explain what you want it to explain, but it can tell the story you want it to tell for you when you come back to the app or to the website, it's still okay that way. So don't actually go and say I want to be writing two letter or two sentence on it and to just be that you when you come back to the app, you find it difficult to understand. Consider what I'm doing. All my websites, all my apps I'm building, I make sure I write something that when I come in, I will still understand. And if somebody, as a developer, comes in also, the person can understand what I am writing. Now you can see that what we are writing, what all of us is writing is still the same thing. There is no difference from what we are writing. So let's continue. Let's continue. So what I'm going to use here is flex also because you can see that from the design we have flex. The both of them are on the same line, so it's going to be flex. So I'll just pick what we have here. We have our flex here also. I'll just pick it. So let me look for what will work where. This is going to be at the center. It's going to be flex, center and flex only. Align item center and flex. So this is it. So I'm going to pick this one and just put it in front. And that is all. Then I'll take this one and for that one, I'll just give it gap. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and look at the gap that we have here. So you can see 10. So I'm going to give it gap. I'm going to put 10 pixels. So that is what we are going to add. And when we come to our code, we are going to see the space. So, but that is not all. That is not all. That is not all. So let's come back to our and take this one. Hobby class is still on. Okay, it's still on. So I'll take this one and go and style this now. So, but since we have this here, there is no need putting class name for this one. I'll just remove it and just, but you can still do that too. You can still do that, but I'll just remove it and use this. Then I'll put text area. Then I think the text area, they're going to still have the same standard. I'm just going to copy this. For the inputs, they're going to have the same thing for the input. So I'm just going to copy that. And you can see, but there's another thing I need to you need to avoid in text area. You can see I can increase this, which is going to see spoil, which is going to always spoil your design. I can increase this, I can reduce it. So, but that is not good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put what is called resize. Resize none. So it's not going to be resizable. Let me just refresh it. So I can't resize it, I can't reduce it. So I'm going to avoid that. So what I'm going to do now is to what is called what I'm going to do height. I'm going to put our height. You can see that our height here is what we have height here of 125 of 102, sorry, 102, 102. The height is 102. I'm going to put our height 102 pixel. So you can see that we have added our 102 pixel. So you can see that it's having that height that we're looking for. So now let's come to the button. Let's copy the same thing here, but we're going to change this to button. Let's put this, but we're going to change this to what? Button. So let's change that to button and save it. Let's style our button. So the most especially in button, if you don't put your out like button always have outline. So I try as much as possible to remove my outline so that in case the browser has an outline on button, it will not affect what I'm doing. I'll remove my border, none. Then I'll also add my background color, green. You can see the green we are using. That's the green color we are using. So when we come to our code, you can see now I'll have this. So put in mind, let me give this its height, and this has a height of 88 and 102 for height. 102 for height and 88 for width. Height 102 pixel. And then width. I'm going to add our width of 88 pixel. So when you come now, you see our code. You can see now it's looking the same way it needs to look. Now I will put border radius, sorry. So let me look for our border radius. Our border radius is 5 pixel. So you can see it's having that shape. Then I'm going to still add font size for the font. Font size, let me go and look at the font, what we have. You can see font size 20 pixel. Let's look at the font again. Font weight 400 and color white. Font weight 400 and color white. 1, 2, 3. So we have this as white, and when we come down, you can see that it's looking exactly as what we want. So now our work is looking exactly as what we are looking for. So, but now there is no space between here and here. So I'm going to look for the space that we're going to use. And put in mind the space now is going to be unique. So space now is going to be something unique. So I'm going to 34 gap. So put in mind that when you come to your code, you now see that I added something here. This is what I added. After putting this footer section, I added mail section. But that is not what we're looking for now. Okay, yeah, that is main section. But we need to work on this footer section. So, but before we go into that, let's add our flex. Why am I adding my flex? Because I want to make it so that I want to give gap. So because without flex, you can't, if you don't add your flex, you can't add gap. So I want to add gap. I want to make it flex column, flex direction column. So I already have identified that already on top. So flex here and flex direction column, flex column. This will give it flex and this will add the column aspect so it will become column. If we remove this and save it, what will happen? You can see how it is now. But if we add the column, you can see it's now column wise. So let's go and add for this flex section, flex mail section. I'm going to add gap. So I will not, since I want this gap to, if you look at it, the gap that is here is still the same gap that is here and still the same gap that is here. So I'm going to just make it unique. So I'm going to make here footer section. So I'm going to add gap here of 34 pixel. So I'm going to take this and add it to this place. So you can see I have that gap now. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to copy this three and put it to this second section. Sorry, class. Put it this and put it also at the third section, class. This. So you can see the second section and the third section. So you can see now that the second section and the third section are having the same gap. So you can see it now. So that is what we have done, and we need to continue making it look good. So you can see that it's coming out little by little, it's coming out to look good. Little by little, it's coming out to look good. So let's also continue and see how to make it look perfect the way it is on the Figma. So that we are going to do our responsiveness today. We are not going to skip it. We're going to do our responsiveness today. So we'll come back from our break. We are going to do other things and make it look good and perfect the way we need it to look good. So let's continue. So you can see that our own is not properly aligned to this end. So what I'm going to do now, so let's see what we have on this section. Let's see. Okay, flex justify contents. Flex justify center. I don't think this is what we need here. What we need here is flex align center. This is what we need here. So uh it should just be display flex and align item center. But if you look at our code now, you see that it's now coming back to this end. But with that, when we added this other aspect has justify content center. So that is why it took it to the middle. But we don't want it to be at the center like that. We want this. So we just want align item center and display flex. So that is what we are doing. So let me just show us the code so we see it ourselves. So let me go to the top. So what we added before was this one, which is display flex, align item center, and justify content. So this justify content now is going to take it horizontally to the center, which is not what we want. So we just want vertically to the center. So that is why I had to use this one, which has this, so that I don't want it horizontally to go to the center. So let's continue. So we are done with the first section. We are done with the first section. You can see it, it looks exactly what we have here. So you can see that it has exactly what we have here. So now let's go to the next section. Okay, it does not. There is still one thing to do, this aspect. So let's come back. Let's come back. Let's come back. Don't run. Don't run. Let's come back. Okay, let's go and give this gap. Since we have added flex, let's give this our gap. Flex mail section. Okay, flex mail header. So let's add this flex mail header. So let's add the gap. So let's come back and see 10 pixel. So flex mail header is what we are looking for. So that it will look, so you can see it, the flex mail header, so that this and this can have space. So if you look at our code now, it's not looking nice. It's not looking, this section is not looking nice. So let's come to the middle section and also start the middle section. So now you can see that, let's look for this. Let's look for this. So this aspect, now what are we going to call it? We call this footer mail section. Now let's call this footer link section. Footer link section. So now let's go and do something justice to footer link section. So we are succeeded in separating them, but let's also add something to footer link section, which is the H3. The H3 footer link section H3. So what are we going to do to the H3? Let's add what is called styling to the H3. Let's go to our design and look at this is where we are now. Okay, 20 400. So I think the H3 here is also having the same thing. The H3, that is the send us message, is having the same style with this and this. So I'll just copy that. I'll copy that and just paste it here. Or better still, if you look at it, since these are the same thing, I'll just say footer section header, footer section header, header, footer section header, so that I'll take it to the top, so that I will not be repeating the same style. You can, as you can see, that I'm trying to as much as possible to avoid repetition. Though there is repetition, but I'm trying as much as possible to avoid this. I'll just copy this class, so that will reduce the lines of code we have. So I'm going to save it and go back here. So on this part, I'm going to give it a class and put this. I'm going to also add a class here, class, and put this. I'm going to also add a class here, and put this. So when you come now, you see that this message, send us a message, and this will be having the same style. You can see this, and this are having the same style. So I've succeeded in avoiding repetition. So it's just styling one thing and it works everywhere. So let's continue. So we are here now. So let's use this to target this div and target this a tag. So let's do that here. So the div aspect is one div that we have. So there's no need of writing a class for the div. So what are we going to do in the div? So we already this is going to align in a column way. So we already know that we have our column and our display flex. So let's go and add our display flex here. So that it will look class flex, and let's add flex column. Let's add flex column, and you can see now it has gone to the flex aspect. So it's now in the flex aspect. So with that, we have succeeded in doing that. Let's come back to, so since that has been done, let's add our gap. So let's look at the gap aspect. So this is 15 pixels. So rather than writing the display flex here and align item and flex direction column, I'm just going to put gap only, gap 15 pixels. If you're hearing me, please indicate that you're hearing me. Let me know. Let me know that you're hearing me. Please indicate. Please indicate that you're hearing me. So we are going to move with the speed of light. Thank God for today. The thank God for today. The network is kind of stable compared to the last class we had. It was just breaking and the class was just ending halfway. Thank God for today. So we are going to add display flex and gap. So you can see we have gotten our gap. So the next we are going to do is to style the text inside. And this is a link. These are links. These are links. Sorry. These are links. So that's why you can see that since they are linked, I have to use the anchor tag, the A tag. So the main reason why you're not seeing the hand aspect on it is because you have not added our href. So anytime you see that your link, you have not given your link the direction it needs to go to, just put your aesthetic sign there. It's preferable so that it would easily identify itself as a link, not a text. So when you come back to this, you see that it identifies itself as a link now. So it has identified itself, but it will not be doing anything. So just take it to the top. So that is what we need to do. So now let's style the link. Let's style it. So now we have started the entering here. So let's go back and do this. Now we are going to now, since it's from the footer link section down to the div, down to the A tag, I'm going to use it that way. A tag. So that I'm going to just style it once and it will just affect everywhere. Uh, text decoration. I'm going to use none. So anytime you use so that you can see that the line under is out now. When you come before, you see a line under, but now it's out. So that's why text decoration removes it. So the next thing I'm going to do is uh color. So what color are we using? White. So you can see it here, white. So you will see that the same style here, the same style here. So 420 white. So rather than styling this I might remove this. I might remove this style and just copy what is here. Since they're the same style that the UI guy gave it. So I'm going to put class and put this. So I'm going to just okay. I'm not going to remove everything because of our text decoration should be none. So I'm going to just remove these other ones and just rather than writing the other style, font size, and others here, I'm just going to use this so that to avoid repetition. So I've succeeded in avoiding repetition. You can see I've succeeded in avoiding that repetition. So the last part we are going to be styling now in this section is this part. So let's work on this part now. And so now we have succeeded in adding this. Let's come down to the last section before we go down to this footer last aspect. Then we'll go to our responsiveness and make sure our responsiveness works fine. Then we are good to go with CSS. So if you have any issue, you can still come back here and watch it and watch it and watch it. But there was a short, I think 9 minute section we did in previous class to complete this footer. So now you can go there and watch it and get the full gist, then come back here and complete it. So it's preferable that way. I don't really want to start that aspect again since we have done it. So let's continue. So let's continue with this now. So uh what are we going to add next? We're going to add, so we have started in doing this, we started giving it a space. Let's come down to this aspect But I'm not going to do the same way I did for this one div. So you can see there are two divs here. So it might still affect what we are doing. So let's just use, okay, it's might not really have, let's just do it the way it's supposed to be. So so we have, this is link section. So this part is going to be social media section. So let's add the class here, social media section. Class footer social social media section. Footer social media section. So that is for this footer social media section. Let's copy it now. And let's work on this. So I'm going to put this footer. Let me just use the class name. Footer social media body. Let me put body. So that is it. So I'm going to now put, or is call here, put it here. So now, but now when I put it here, let's see what we have. So this is actually this, and this is actually, it's like in the column wise first. The body is in the column wise. So rather than writing the body column wise, I'm just going to write gap here, and I'm going to come here and put our normal column aspect. So if you are following this class, that's why I said our tutorials are going to be project based tutorial. So this is going to be flex, and please don't put in mind that you can't get this. Don't put in mind you can't get this. Any class you don't understand, make sure you reach out to us. We are there to help you. That is why this program is here. You're not here to run the race yourself. You're not here to run the race yourself. After watching the program, you don't understand this doubles. So you can get the full gist. If we try as much as possible for you to understand, we can use on that method for you so you can understand it before going further. Don't just run from here. And there's some persons, seriously, I love that. Always reaching out to us, like reaching out. I don't get this is not working. I will make sure we reach out to them by giving them the correct answer. And then when they get it, they say, yes, that is it. And they continue. So please make sure you reach out to us. So now let's see the gap between year and year. 44. So after saying adding this, so let me save it. Let me come back to this place and put our gap. 44 pixel, 44 pixel. So when we come back to our own code, you can see the gap now. It has been added a little wide. So now let's work on these icons. I think the icons are making the UI not to look the way it's supposed to look. Let's work on those icons now. The next thing we're going to work on is the icons. So now let's look at this. So I'm going to use this, since it's one div that's inside of here. Okay, no, there are two divs. Or let me just give this class, put this, and but footer social media body uh images or icons. Let me just use icons. Icons. You can say I need to use something that will look good to my when I'm coming back to this code. So now I'm going to use that here. So what am I going to do? I'm going to I'm going to now put what is called okay. It's already is displayed flex wise. So let me add that aspect. Uh flex, I think is this one. Let me use this one. Yes. So it's just be display flex and align item center. So I think that's what is preferable to use here for the images. So when we come back to it, you see that it's like this, it's straightforward. So now the next thing we're going to do is to work on the images individually. So now let me come back to this, and yeah, I'm just going to work on the gapping aspect. So this is going to be 13 pixels. So I'm going to work on gap 13 pixels. So if you know the way I'm used to give my gap, I'm going to click on this one first. Hold my Alt key and just, or some, if you don't hold your Alt key, it will still give you, but sometimes if it not give you, make sure you hold your Alt key and just hover on this one. Hover on this one, you will get the. So I've started in giving my gap 13. So let's look at it. So the next thing we are going to work on now is the images. So since the images are kind of similar, they are kind of having the same shape. So I'm just going to give it uh just going to add img here, space img. So what am I going to do? Go to our Figma, 45 45. Width is 45. Then height will be 45. So when you come to our code now, I think so you can see that immediately we reduce this, UI came back to normal, the way it's supposed to be. So you can see that our Figma file is now coming out the way it's supposed to be. So you can see after reducing the images, it came out now the way it's supposed to be. So congrats guys. You can see it's coming out well. It's coming out well. I'm so happy for that. So let's continue. So what are we going to do next? We're started and giving working on this. So we can work on these images again. So what we're going to work on is this one. Let's go back to our code. So now what we are going to do next is to give this a class. Yeah, we need to give this a class. Class name. So this was social media icons. So what are we going to give this one? Social media um, button links. Let me just use links. Body links. So I'm just going to use this for it. So we are still adding our body links, and I think this is the last part before we come to the down one. Then we're going to the responsiveness. Guys, congrats! We're actually moving. We're actually moving. We're actually moving. So when we do the responsiveness, you guys will now see that responsiveness is not hard. But I'm going to work on this and give it a shadow. I'm going to teach you guys how to give shadow and give shadow yourself. There are many libraries that can teach that can give you shadow, but it's always preferable you know how to do it yourself. I'm going to teach you guys how to give shadow and then the shadow the way you want it to be. So rather than as I said, our program is kind of uh what is it called? Project based kind of program. So that you guys will see it and test it yourself and do it yourself. That's very, very important. So let's continue. So the next thing is this one. So let's give it our gap. Let's go to this Figma and look at it, hold it and come down 33. Is it 33? 25. I think 25 is it. So let's give it our gap. So rather than just writing it, let's come here and just put our flex gap, flex column, flex column. So let's come back here and give it our gap of 25 pixel. So 25 pixel. You can see now there is a gap here. So the next we are going to work on is the sign up and sign in. So but already if you look at it very well, we have worked on the sign up and sign in here. So but let's just work on it for working sake. So the next we're going to work on is this. So but like I told you, let's just give it our link href uh aesthetic, and let's come back and see it. So you can see that it's there, but let's see if it's the same thing. This link is the same thing with this one. What I'm going to do now is just to remove the decoration, then use this and put here. So let's go to our code now. So I'm going to copy this one, this class, and paste it here. Then I'm going to use this. So I'm going to use this and locate this A tag. So I'm going to use this and locate the A tag. So I'm going to remove the decoration there. But put in mind, after putting this and putting this, let's see how it is now. It's now big, but it's having underline. It's not coming out here, but it's having underline. So put in mind where we are getting this type from is the universal text type we did for footer. So let's just see it again. Where is it? So you can see this is it. So rather than writing it again consistently, we have to just do it once and have to use it everywhere. So one thing that qualifies a senior developer is avoiding repetition. So always put that in mind. Try to avoid repetition. So I'm going to copy this now. Let me copy this now. Not this, sorry, not this one, which is the link there. And we'll put our A tag. And that is all. Text decoration. None. We don't want it. So you can see it's off now. And it's looking exactly the way we need it on the UI. So now let's work on this last. Let's work on this. So our time is fast spent, but let's be fast. Responsiveness will not really take us much time. We'll just be fast with it and we'll get it done. You guys will really see. The only part that might take us time is I think is this and the footer. But that is not going to be a serious work. Let's just continue. So since this has only one div, I'm going to locate the div. I'm going to locate the div. So I'm going to locate the div Is there need of styling the div? Let's see. Is there need of styling the div? We already know that gap. Okay, let's just put gap and make sure. Let's put our class flex flex center. So it will make it to be at the center, two of them. So then I'll put our gap here. I'll put our gap here and just see 25 pixel. I think that is all we need to do. And you can see the gap is coming out. So let's design our login and our sign up here. Let's design the login and the sign up. Let's design the login and the sign up. So let's copy this. So I'm going to put this and I'm going to remove this inside and put what button. So now what I want to do, I want to style. You can see that the button somehow the text looks the same. So I'm just going to style the text. Or rather than styling the text, you can see the text is somehow the same with what we have here. So I'll just, rather than styling it, let me just use this for now. So let's use this. Just copy this and put it here. Just going to put it here. Also copy this and put it here so that this the text was just going to be look the text is just going to look the same. So but it's not really coming out the way we want it to come out. So let's remove the background color first. So I'm going to add style for this. Okay, we're going to add style for this. Login and sign up. I'm just going to put it. I just want to be fast. You can actually add what you want. Login and sign up. So let me check my UI whether it affects my UI. Let me check whether it affects my no. Okay. So now let me just come back here and just use rather than using button, I'll use login. I'm going to use dot login, sorry, dot login. I'm going to copy the same thing. I'm going to use what? Dot sign up. Dot sign up. So now we are started inputting dot sign up and dot login. So let me style it now. Background color transparent. Border none. Uh Border none. What else? Border none. Outline none. So that is done. Then the next thing we're going to do is to style this one background color. Then is this green. So you can copy the green. I'll send this thing, the Figma to us. So you can copy the green from here. So now the next thing we're going to add is border radius 10. Border radius 10. And put in mind, I'm not really designing this for my head. That's why I sent the Figma file to us. And in case you don't have the Figma file, you can message me for the Figma file and I will give it to you. Or if you are joining the program and you want the Figma file, you can actually message us and you get the Figma file. I'll post the Figma file on the comment section so you guys will have it. So now I think that is all. Then padding 8 and 35. Then I'll put our padding 8 top and down, 35. So if you might be looking at why am I putting padding here? If you don't really understand it, that means you need to go and watch the previous videos. So let me move our border so that it will not be looking anyhow. Border, none, outline, none. So this alone, you can see is now what we want. And if you look at our Figma, so let me reduce it so you see our Figma. Let me put it like this. So look at our Figma, look at this. So you see that they are the same thing. Let's look just at the this content at the bottom is not there. I'm going to put it now. So they're the same thing. I think we are done with the Figma. We are just going to go to responsiveness, and going to teach you guys literally how to do your responsiveness. So let's put our H3 and let's copy this. Let's copy this first. So this is an image. Let's download the image. Let's download the image. This is an image. Let's make it high quality. If you're downloading your PNG, make sure you make it high quality. And I'm going to download this now. I've downloaded it. Let me go and copy it and add it to the Figma. To our code base, sorry. So I'm going to copy this, got it, add it to our code base, assets, images. No, I want it to be an icon. That is an icon. So I'll add it to the icon. Sorry, this did not copy properly. So let me just look for copyright. That is called copyright symbol. So this is the copyright symbol. Just copy it here. So that will make it as a text. This is a text. That is a text. Because what the guy did there, he did an image, but he did not actually put it very well. So I'm going to paste it. So I think that will solve our problem, copyright. So now, if we go and look at our code, we will see that has been added. You can see it has been added. But now we have not added it properly. We have not designed it properly. So let me just look for what I will give this as a style. Okay, this footer top container. I'm going to make it the down one footer bottom container. Footer bottom container. But now footer bottom container. So I'm not going to add flex top here. I'm going to add uh flex align justify. That is just go to the middle. So that it will be both align item top and down are in the same space. Left and right are having the same space to push it to the middle. So you can see automatically it's at the middle rather than stressing myself. So already added this. So let's go and see what we added there. Flex direction, align justification, justify center, sorry. Flex, align, justify center. You can see display flex, align item center, justify content center to push it to the center of any container. So already I have my container elements. This is the DIH3 to the center. I had to just do that and to push it to the center. If you look at our code, it's at the center of top and down, of top and up and down and left and right. So let's go and look at our Figma. Hope I'm still on the class. Yes. Let me be sure that we are still on the class. Yeah. So now let's see on the Figma aspect. Let's see. Uh, 17. Let's just go there. Well, you know that looking at it, this text and this other text are the same thing. I'll just go and copy what I added here. So that to avoid repetition, you can see that we have used that kind of style in several places and that's not really affected us. Now let's check what we have. You can see it's now looking the same way, but the spacing is not there. So let's actually give it a particular quality spacing. So let's come down to this footer bottom container. So let me give it spacing like padding top, padding. So that the top and the bottom, I'll just give them 40 pixels, 0 pixel. So that the left and right will not have any pixel, any padding. So you can see now it's having a quality padding. So with this now, our footer is live. Like our footer is literally the same thing that we have here. So let's see it. So you can see it's literally the same thing. There is no difference with what we have. So guys, you can see, and in case you are building something, maybe you are building your own UI and you don't really understand, maybe you are finding it's hard to do something, you can reach out to us with it. Maybe you have gone ahead of what we are doing and you are trying to do something and you are not getting it. You can reach out to us with it. Let's see, and we can follow you up and make sure you get it right. So these are footer. Now let's come down to responsiveness, which is going to be the last thing we're going to be doing today. But before going to that, let's add our. You can see that the nav bar is not having a kind of separation that would differentiate that this is a nav bar when it comes to this white space. So let's go and add what is called uh let's add what is called shadow. Let's add our shadow to it. So where we are going to add the shadow to this is on this nav itself. So let's locate the nav on class. So this is it. So let's add our shadow. You can see that is where we added the white color. So let's add shadow. So there's type of shadow. We have text shadow and box shadow. For containers, is box shadow. For text, you can add your text shadow, but they are basically the same kind of style. So I'm just going to work on the box shadow. This is the box shadow now. So the box shadow has the first aspect, which is the vertical aspect, and the second aspect, which is the horizontal aspect. The third aspect, which is the third thing to consider, which is the blur. Then the fourth aspect which is considered is the blur radius. So the blur radius means the distance of the blur from the normal container. Then the color. And you can add multiple colors you want. It will mix itself and give you what you want. So let's add the first aspect. I just want it to be 0, the vertical aspect. Okay, let me just put it 10. So you guys will see what I'm saying. 10 pixel. So let's look at our Figma. You can see now. You can see that the shadow has come out as black color, default black color. Now let's put this as 0. So you can see now the horizontal aspect as okay. This is okay. Let's put this as 10 so you guys will see by yourself. So you can see that it has gone out. The horizontal aspect has gone out, but the vertical aspect is still there. So let's make sure that we understand this. No, okay. This is the vertical aspect, this is the horizontal aspect. So that one would, this is the horizontal aspect, this is the vertical aspect. When we remove this, the first one is the what's called the horizontal aspect. This is the horizontal aspect. It is horizontally as aligned. Then this is the vertical aspect. So if I remove this now, you see that it's just going to give us the vertical spacing. Like you can see that space in the front aspect is not there. So you just have to know how to play with it. Because I understand that I'm playing with it now. So now I'm going to give something like border radius, blur radius. Sorry, blur. This is just blur, not blur radius. Blur. I'm going to make it 8. So you can see that the blur came out now. It came out. So now let's put a blur radius of 10 pixels. So you see now, you can see that the distance between the blur and the container itself is now having much distance. I can add more distance. Then the next thing going to add is the color. I always like using black color. And then I'm going to reduce it and make it look good. So now you can see that the default aspect is black already. So adding my black color is just for me to reduce it. I'm just going to reduce the color, the opacity of the color, so that the color will not look clearer. So you can see now that we have that kind of feel when we come to this. You can see that it's like there's a separation between the main page and nav bar. So, but what I'm going to do, this is not really perfect. Let me reduce this to 4. So I'm going to have that kind of quality feel. And I don't really like this at this. I'm just going to remove this. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to make it 0, 0. So you can see that I have that feel of a shadow is not coming out well. So I'm still going to reduce this. So that feel of a shadow now is not coming out. You can see it now. So I can easily note when it comes to this white color that there is a shadow, and this is my nav bar. So that is it for this. So let's come to the responsiveness, guys. Let's work on the responsiveness now. So you can see that the Figma guy actually did 3 for the tablet and for the phone aspect. So let's just work on the responsiveness. I'm going to teach you guys how to work on responsiveness now. So let me download this image. I'm going to make it. So I'm going to increase the image. Then if I preview it, you will see that it's there. Then let me download it. Let me export it so that I'm going to take it to my code. So let me go and copy this. I don't really want this. I'm going to delete this. Okay, so let me take this now. So, but put in mind there are some legal fonts also that can give you a quality icon. But that will be maybe next time we are going to talk about font awesome and icon libraries that we are going to use to make our icons come out well. So the next thing we're going to do now is I hope you guys are hearing me. I hope you guys are hearing me. Okay. You're almost done with today's class so that we can go. I say 2 hours always. So let's just do the responsiveness of all we have. And the responsiveness is not going to take us time. And we are going to be done with it. So now, put in mind, let's come back to our code again. So you can see that the responsiveness we have here, all the content here is like they're inside here. So now let's look at it. So how are we going to make this come out the way it's supposed to be? Now, how are we going to make it come out the way it's supposed to be? Because if you look at it, let's go to our own code and see. Let's come back to our code. Okay, this is it. So let's just check for the responsiveness. So you see that it's not responsive at all. And imagine you build a website that is like this, beautiful like this, and beautiful like this. You can see the nav bar is scattered already, but it's not responsive. If someone wants to check it to his phone, the person is seeing this, just like our central bank website does not really have responsiveness, and I don't really imagine why Nigeria will be building such websites, why we have quality hands. But in case you are connected to them, you can tell them like I can do it. You can link them to me. So I'll just give them a quality responsive website. So you can see that it's not really looking nice. I can't open this on my phone and view it. It's not going to look nice. So let's go to the responsiveness. Let me take this down. I always like mine to be down. So you can see it's not responsive. It's not responsive. So now let's look at our responsiveness. So let's start with the nav bar. When you're doing responsiveness, don't go and see you want to do all of them once. Start with one. Let's start with the nav bar, make the nav bar responsive. Then we'll go to the hero section, make it look responsive. Then go to other sections and make them look responsive the way they need to look. So what are we going to do now? We are going to target, make sure you look at um so I'm going to just create an image section div that will hold this image for us div. So let me image img, and I'll put this, and I'll put source, and sorry, one step out, assets, one step, icon, icons, then one step, then menu, is it menu? Menu, yeah, it's menu. So the menu now is there. So let's look at our code again. You see that the menu will appear now. So it has appeared, but it's not really looking nice. Let's reduce it with what we have here. What we have here is like 42, 42. So let's come back and style it. Style, class, uh, nav, menu, menu icon. So I'm going to go to my nav bar, to where my nav is, and just add it. So I'm going to locate the img image inside. Then I'll put width 42 pixel, height 42 pixel. But put in mind, in case you are having multiple img images and they are going to have different style, don't try this method though. The main reason I'm using this method is because of I have only one img image inside. That is the main reason why I'm using this. And if you come down to our code now, you see that it's now smaller. That is the size we want. So let's come down to the bottom aspect of this nav bar. The bottom aspect. This is where the nav bar ends. Let me add my style there. You can add your style there, but some persons do something that is called okay, let's just do that. For this aspect now, some persons go, don't forget to put your description. Let me add my description, footer section beginning, footer section beginning, footer section ending. So some persons would prefer to style this, and that might not really look. So let's start with, now when you want to style for CSS, you have to locate where you want to start your styling from. So now always look at this. Always look at this. You can see this number here, 764. Now I want to look at where, let me comment this first of all. I want to look at where this nav bar breaks. You can see 1095 is still good. Sometimes the Figma might design is a responsive view for you, but make sure you work with your own browser and other browsers. You can see it breaks in 994. So one, I'll use 160, 1060. I'll use 1060. And I'll come to this now. Okay, let me do this. So you can see that this one now at this point is showing. I don't want it to show when I come in to my website. So I'm going to, you can see where I've added it. Nav menu icon. So nav menu icon, I'm going to remove it. Nav menu icon, I'm going to put it here and put display none. Display none. So when I come to the website, automatically it's not there. So let me go back to where I am. So I'm going to add my responsiveness here now. So I'm going to use responsive views. Responsive views. Responsive views. So I want to start my responsive view for 1000. So I'm going to write media query. Sorry, at media query. At media screen. Yeah, at media screen. So I'm going to put an. So you might decide to move the and oh, if you want to. You might decide to move the and. Does not really make matter. So okay, let me just move it so that you guys will understand. If you want to add it, you can add it. So width. So the width, max width, sorry, max width. I'm going to be using max width. So max width, I'm going to put 1060 pixel. So the max width for this is 1060 pixel. So let me just add my arm. So you can decide to remove this if you want to. Or just leave it as media screen. So this is going to work for you. The same way this is going to work. Just like using media screen as media screen and move the screen and just leave it like this. Whichever one works for you. So the first thing I'm going to work on now is the nav. So I'm just going to copy my nav bar, my nav uh, icon. So now on this screen, I want to display it. On this screen, I want to display it. So on this screen, I want to display it. So what will I do? So I'm going to do what is called a display block. So I've displayed it now on this screen. So sorry, don't put this. This is not going to work. Don't put this. This is going to work like this. So you are going to see it now. Yeah. So now I'm going to disable the next screen, the next this content now, sub nav bar. So I'm going to disable it here now. So we are not going to see it. Disable none. So when we come to this point now, you can see we have gotten the nav bar the way it's supposed to be. So with this now, with this responsiveness, no matter how you scroll down, let your website be small, your nav bar will be looking nice. But the only thing now we are going to work on now also is the spacing, the space between here and here is much. Here, so we're going to reduce it. So what are how are we going to reduce it? We are going to take our nav. Let's go and look at the body itself, the body of the nav bar, which is this one. So we have 125 padding. So we are going to reduce the padding of the 125. So we're going to reduce the padding of the 125 here. Padding, the padding top and the padding bottom is still going to be the same thing. But we are going to, what did we use for the padding top and the padding bottom? The padding top and the padding top and the padding bottom, yeah. What did we use for that? What did we use for that? So we use, let's just copy this 15 pixel. Let's just copy this and go down to our responsive view and just paste it on. And you can see that the class name is still the same thing, it's still rhyming. Don't go and use another class name and feel it will work. Is you're not rewriting your class name, you're just going to be doing responsiveness for each screen. So I'm just going to add okay, let's add 40 pixel. So let's see it. So you can see that it has reduced. So this is fair, this is nice. So now let's work on this other screen. Rather than doing this, let's just work on it. Let me just work on it so that you guys will see. I'll put here position relative on the nav bar. Then I'll put here, I'll move this and I'll put here position absolute. So you can see, let's see. So you can see now it's out of the screen itself. So let's add background color white. Let it stand alone on its own. I want it to stand alone. And let's add uh width 100%. 100%. I want it to stand on its own. So we have gotten our width 100%. Or let's just put view width. So view width works fine. So that the next thing we're going to do is we are going to add our flex display. Now you can be writing your flex, but you can still do the same thing to avoid repetition. Display flex. We're going to add, or we have added our flex. There's flex on it already. So let's just do flex direction column so that it will fall to be as a column. Then since we're adding position absolute, let's put stop 0. Let's see. Top 0 is not working. So let's see. Okay, this is where our subnav bar is. So we need to work on this one. Also, so let's flex direction column. So you can see it's now on a column wise. So let's also work on this one to nav alt so that all of them will work in line. Flex direction column, so it will fall down to be a column. So you can see that I've turned to be a column. So let's now make okay, let's take this downward 20 pixel. Let's see. Let's take it also to 80 pixel. Let's see. So it's not coming down, it's not down. Now let's say left. Let's put left 0. So it will click to the left. So you can see now it has gone to the left aspect. So left 0 is working. And let's put our padding here. Let's pad this. Let's pad this top 30 pixel. And yep, that is all. 30 pixel, 0 pixel. Left and right should be 0. So I think this works where the spacing is now working properly. But you can see the login and the sign up is not like at the middle. I don't really like that. Let them be together. So I'll just use since it's column now, it will be justify content. Since it's column, it's not a row. That is now be okay. This does not work. Sorry. Align item. Align item. Flex start. Okay, yeah, this works well. So it will be on the same line with what we have here. So what we're going to do now is going to take this align item flex start. We're going to bring them to the starting point. So now let's add a padding of 40 pixel. So yeah, this works fine. So with this now, you can see that we have succeeded in doing our responsiveness. We have succeeded in doing our responsiveness. So whenever I hover on this, I will get this. Yeah, that works fine for us. So there is another thing I want to show us, but that will be in our next class. So let's just make this let's just make this display none. So you're not going to see it. So because we don't really have time. So you can see now. We have started in designing it, but JavaScript will make it come to life. But there's a way you can do it on CSS that will make it come to life. Let's just be fast and do other responsiveness. If there is time, we are going to do it also. But whenever you hover on this icon, it's going to bring it down and you can select what you want to select. So now I think that we're going to do that, but not now. Let's finish with other aspects. So we are started in writing our CSS responsiveness. Now let's go to the next section, the hero section. Now you can see that the hero section automatically has a default styling that is looking good. So now you might not really want to work on the hero section. You can just work on the text aspect of the hero section. So because it's automatically at the center, it's going to make it look responsiveness. It's going to make it look responsive. So let's come to this other section. What is that section called? What is that section called? It's called, okay, goodwill section. Goodwill section. Now the goodwill section has uh its overall content. So let's make that overall content. Where did we added our padding to? So we are almost done. Let's just be fast with this. So I'm not going to really touch that aspect. So padding, I'm going to give the same padding we give this. So I'm going to still give the same padding we give this, give to our. So let's just add it here also. So you guys can see it's now coming nice. So the next we are going to work on now is the responsiveness. So to make it look responsive. So the first we are going to touch in the responsiveness is this second section. So we are done with the navbar responsiveness. Let's be fast. We don't really have much time. Let's close this and let's work on this goodwill section. So now the next we are going to work on the goodwill section. Uh, let's talk about flex wrap. Now, flex wrap will make your work not to go. Let me open our paint. Let me open our paint. So let's say for instance I have a container. I think by 6:30, latest 6:30 we'll be done with this. By latest 6:30, let me just watch my time because I don't really have time. Then when we come back next year, we are still going to talk about it more and we are still going to do more things. But during your break, we're going to share you guys something to work on. And if you have anything on that, like if you are having confusion, you can ask us at any point in time. By 6:30, we are going to end this class. So let's look at this together. So let's say, for instance, we have this content. We have this content and we have this content. And if peradventure we have another content here, now because of flex wrap, it will not be there. It will go down. Because of flex wrap, now that third content now will go down. Like it should just wrap down and it will just come down. And once you have another content that is here, if you're supposed to have another content, it will still come down depending on the size you put. So that is what flex wrap does for us. Whenever you have flex wrap, it makes it not to go beyond the width that you have specified for that content. That's why I say flex box is actually nice. You still have to go back and see learn more about flex box. But we are going to be touching them as we are going further. So now you can see that as we are writing this, the content is not really going down. The content is not really going down because there is no flex wrap on it. So in flex wrap, you don't really need to do much on your responsiveness. So it will not really collapse. It will not really go above the size of the screen, the width of the screen. It's just be collapsing. So I think that will not take us much time on that one. We're just going to rush that very fast, and you can see we are going to be done very fast. So you're going to locate the class of this. You're going to get this. Let's get this. Let's get the parents first. Do we need the parent? No, we don't need the parents for now. Let's get this that wrap this one. Let's go there now. Okay, good way. Then we are going to put this. We are going to put flex wrap. But that is not enough. That is not enough. Put that in mind. That is not enough. So what we're going to do now, we're going to copy this, the goodwill description containers. So the containers of each content, we're going to copy it. You can see that we gave all of them the same class name. We're going to come down here and just put it. And now for this particular size, the way you need to do this for this particular size, I don't think so. The size is okay for this. It's okay for this. So let's come down and locate the size where we need to break it, which size we need to break it. For that 600, 1600, we don't need to break it. Let's break it at 920. I think 8. Let's break it at 800. So let's change we are done with this aspect now, with this particular class. Now let's come down and just remove everything here. We are done with this particular one. Let's reduce the size to what? 800. 800. Then let's implement this. Boom. That is it. So we're going to remove this. Okay, sorry, we're not going to remove all of them. We're going to just remove this and leave this there. So we are going to remove this now. So that on this particular size, it can just break by itself. So we're going to put width 45 pixel, 45%, sorry, 45%. So for 800, it should be 45%. So it's not still okay. Let's see. Let's see. Let's just copy this and see. Let me locate it here. So 31, this is it, 31. Then for this one, so okay, this is the container. Okay, let's take this off here. Let's put it here so I'll be seeing it. Flex wrap. Okay, max width is 800. So flex description 81 width. But we don't need 31, we need 45. 45. So why is it not working? That will check. Let me see. Border 1 pixel solid red. Let's be sure it's showing. When we get to 800, it's not showing. That means it has not been added. But let's see here if it's showing. Border 1 pixel solid red. It's actually showing here. So it's not showing here. That means, let me see if it's showing here. That means there's something missing that we have not added. So you can see Goodwill max 800 pixel here. Let's see. Let me take this and paste it here. And let's put background color. Right. Okay, it's working here. Let me locate why it's not working here. — 900. Let's use 900. Oh, God. What is this now? This can be annoying. Wait, let's write it. Let's just write it. and be sure. At media screen and max width 800 pixel. So I'm going to copy this and paste it here. Okay, let me just dot navbar background color red. So why is it not working? Sorry guys, let me actually figure why it's not working. Let me put 1600 1600. Let's see. So this works. Then media screen max width, this does not really work. Why? Okay. I think something is wrong. So let's put this here and let's take this out and let's see. Let's bring this to the bottom. Why is it not working? After putting 1800, it's worked here, but it did not work here. And this is wrong. This is actually wrong. Why is it not working now? Let's put 900 and see. Actually, it's not working. Let's comment this one and see. Let's comment this one. It's not still working. Let's put 1900. It worked. Something is wrong somewhere. Yeah, why is this not working? Okay, let's do something. Minimum width. Okay, max width. But this minimum width will have issues. So once we go below 9, okay. Sorry. Then I actually made a mistake. Max width. The minimum width. The mean width. Think they have actually updated CSS. Saying this is kind of an update. So this works. Okay, let's just use it that way. So now you can see that it's bricked at this section. So now, but once you continue to go down to other sections, it's not really breaking. So let me remove this column. Let me just move these colors and all that. Let's move this color. Let's move this color. So it's working now. So now let's put this that we have That means this is supposed to be max width, minimum width then. But if you notice, okay, I'll get why is he not working this way? Why is he using? You can see this works now. We'll now go to use default part because max width is the best option to use. I already know why it's not affecting this, but rather minimum width is the one affecting this. So let's see. We'll get to figure out why. Let's just continue. So let's continue. And you can see that when we do this and do this, our so now let's come down to the footer. Let's add the footer now. You can see the footer is not really looking nice, also like this one. Let's add the footer at this junction. So before we add the footer at this junction, let's come down to this also and also wrap the footer. Let's go back to the footer. You can see the footer section. Let's also put that. So let's also put this on the footer section. I don't really like this. Let me just copy it. So I want to start the footer section too at this point. So let's add it here. So that's the once you get to that particular size, the footer will also turn to 40, padding left and right. That will look good on everywhere. You can see it's not working properly the way it's supposed to work. Then let's also copy the footer and put it here. Not this footer aspect at this point. Let's work on this one now. In this other section, this top section. Now the top section now, we are going to also wrap it and put flex wrap so that you can see that whenever it says not go beyond what we have and it can break by itself to the once we have, but it cannot break like this except we add now a kind of specific size. So now for this aspect, now we have this footer section that we use for this three section that we use for the three section one, two, three. So now let's use it to break that aspect. So let's come down to this and say width 45 pixel. So with this, it has broken. You can see now it has broken. But now let's give it our gap, gap of 30. Sorry, margin bottom. Let's use margin bottom, not gap. Margin bottom of 20 pixel. So that you can see the space at the like a space separating them. Let's increase it to 50 pixel. Let's increase it to 50 pixel. So you see that space. So now the next we are going to do now, we are still in breaking it. Now let's look for another particular size. You can see that it's coming out well. It's coming out well. So on this size is coming out well. You can see now let's break it on 500. When it gets to 500, let's also break it. I don't really like it to be like this. When it comes to 500, let's break it so it to become single. So now let's go back and what we did here now, we're just going to copy it because they're almost the same thing that we're going to do. Let's just copy it. But there are some scenarios where you have to still rearrange it. Let's just copy it 500. And we don't really need this flex wrap again since because now it's going to be working from top to bottom. So it's going to still locate it. We don't really need this again. Then we are just going to since the flex wrap is at this point, it's going to affect this one too. So let's reduce it to 100%. I think 100% is going to work fine. 100%. So, but we don't really need this. this margin here, since it's here already, it's still going to work well. So you can see now we have our code working properly. Now on this other aspect, let's also give this margin. Let's also give this a margin bottom of 50 pixel. Let's see. You can see it's working now. Let's also increase the margin. Let's increase it to 80 pixel. Yeah, you can see it's working fine now. So now, whenever we reduce this, if you use your phone to view this, you're going to see something nice. So this is at 200. If you still want to make it work at 200, so let's just this is for iPhone aspect. You can see for iPhone XE. Let's if you want to leave it as just scrolling, you can leave it as scrolling. But if you want to leave it with phone size, let's check for iPhone 12 Pro. You can see you can see nice looking nice on phone screen. Let's check for iPhone. Let's check for which other iPhone. Let's check for Galaxy. You can see it's looking nice. So this is what we have. And I told you guys by 9:30, by 6:30 we'll be off, and I think we are off. So we have done the responsive view. And put in mind, all you just be doing is max width, min width, whichever one works for you. You can see max width did not really work, and I twist it to min width and it works. But normally it's supposed to be max width. It's supposed to be max width. I don't really know why it did not work because it's supposed to be max width. So now, whenever I turn it to a larger screen, it's still going to look well for us. You can see this is not really good. The minimum width is what is working. It's supposed to be max width. I don't really know why it's not capturing max width. Okay, let me change it to max width. Max width. It's supposed to be max width, not minimum width. Minimum width means the minimum width is after that minimum width, the remaining is going to be affected. I don't really want that. Okay, that it is working properly now. So let's take it to a smaller phone, Galaxy phone. And you can see it's not really working. Yeah, I don't really know why. Okay, let me just remove this screen and screen. Let me just remove this. I don't really need this. I think that might be what is affecting it. It's not really working properly. I don't even know why. It has been a while I really wrote CSS scripts. Basically, I've been writing uh, React. I don't really know why this is this. Well, let me figure it out. Let me go to their documentation. W3 school. W3 schools. So let's go to CSS and see why is it not coming. Let's see media query. Yeah. So this is the media query max with 600 pixel. Okay, only, let's copy this. They added only to theirs. Let's see if it works. It's not still working. If the browser window is 600 pixel or smaller, yeah, that is what we actually did now. Why is it not working? I don't really know why. 600 pixel or smaller. Let me see my chat if somebody is saying something. Oh, wait, let me open on that browser. Think if I open on that browser and it works, that means it's from Chrome browser. Let me open on that browser. Let me be sure that it's not from Chrome browser. Let me do a responsiveness aspect of this. Inspect. I think it's from my code. It's from my code. It's from my code. Let me open up Mini also. Opera Mini. I think it's from my code. Now let me just figure it out myself. It's from my code. So let's see why is it this way. Let's look at this again. Well, I think so you can see for large screen, it's talking about something higher than this, and I don't really know why this is not really working, but currently this is what I use always and it's working. So just give me a thumbs up. If your own is working, fine. Let's look at it. Then if we see that, let me just go through it on my own and see why it's not working. And tomorrow I might update a class on this responsiveness and show you guys why it's not working. So whichever way. So if you are on the class and you have any question, you can just indicate. If you have any question, you can indicate. But if I put something higher, it will work. If I put something lower, it will not work. And that is funny. You can see. If I put, okay, let me just put something higher than 1061. It will. If I put, okay, let me put something 59. Let me see. It's worked. Let me put uh 1000. It's worked. Let me put 999. It's worked. It's working. 999 is working. So let me put 900. If from 900 down is not working. So I'll actually figure out why it's not working from 900 down. 768. Let me put 768. 768. 768 is not working. Okay, guys. So this is where we'll stop for today. So I'll figure it out and update a class on this maybe tomorrow or next. Why it's not working, but I believe this is how it's supposed to be. But maybe one or two configurations might has caused it not to work. And if you read the documentation of say when you're using Macs now, let me read it for you guys so you guys will see. Save extra small device. Okay. Okay. Let me just read somewhere that will explain this for us. Okay, you can see when you're using Mac, it says Windows 600 pixel or small or smaller. So that is it. So thank you guys for actually joining today's class. And this might not be the last class. So maybe tomorrow might be the last class. I'll just explain responsiveness for us. Be on Thursday. Might be the last class. I might just explain responsiveness for us and we are just good to go. So thank you guys. Thank you guys. God bless you.